Leonardo DiCaprio in Tarantino's new movie? Yes, that's the story. You can go now if that's what you're looking for. He's in the... Are you ready for the Midnightly Show? The only pop culture show on the internet, besides the thousands of others, featuring the house band, me, except I'm just learning how to play the piano, with special guest, no one. And I'm the announcer. Yep, it's still just me. And now your host. It's Matt. Yeah, I don't think many people actually watch the first video on our YouTube channel, so I started it like that. So welcome to the first episode of the Midnightly Show. You can see it's midnight here. Maybe. The idea of the show is just going to be a whole bunch of different things and whatever I really feel like. It could be about movies or games or television. Or, I'll do some news, I'll do some reviews, I'll do some... Leonardo DiCaprio joins Tarantino's new Manson murder film. This will reunite the two after their first film, Django Unchained. And I think this is great. Tarantino has a good knack for getting good performances out of people. In Django, it was a departure for DiCaprio. He doesn't often play villains, but he did it really well. It was something different. I think sometimes he can get into a kind of space where he does the same sort of performance. Tom Cruise, Brad Pitt, and Margot Robbie are also circling the project. The plot is about an aging movie star in 1969, set in Los Angeles. A lot of people think it's a movie about the Manson murders. From the sounds of it, it's going to be more of a backdrop to the story. Or maybe sort of a Pulp Fiction type thing where there'll be different stories and one of them will revolve around Manson. I know a lot of people were a little worried about this because Tarantino is known for, these over-the-top, gruesome, bloody, violent scenes. And the fact that it's kind of a relatively new murder, some people think it might be a little insensitive, but I think a lot of people forget that he has two kind of styles of violence that he uses. I think, for example, in Django Unchained, there's this contrast between the slaves and the slave owners. Whenever the violence is towards a slave in that movie, it's always very constrained, realistic for Tarantino standards. They cut away a lot, they leave it up to the audience's imagination, and I think it was appropriate. When the violence is towards the slave owners, it's big, explosive, exaggerated, and blood splurting, and so unrealistic. And it is on purpose to kind of have that cathartic release. Because those moments, like every time I've seen it with people, it's always a big cheering moment. It's fun. It's undoubtedly fun.
Deep dive into greater philosophical debates. Should violence in movie be enjoyable? Does movie violence cause real-world violence and human enabling violence? I don't know.
So I think if he were to portray the Tate murders on screen, he would tone it back. He would do the restrained violence. Yeah, overall I'm really looking forward to this movie. I'm a big fan of Tarantino. It's going to be his first movie distributed by Sony instead of the usual Weinstein company. I wonder why that is. Oh no. I know Sony really needs a hit. I know a lot of people are quite sour on them quite recently with, the Emoji Movie.
Should we wash our hands? We're number 2!
Spider-Man was good. I really like Spider-Man. Okay, let's go to some more stories. This isn't really news, but the Han Solo movie is still coming out of May this year, and we know nothing. They just released a synopsis of the film, and it tells us literally nothing. See, it's like Han Solo is gonna go on some wacky adventures. I was really excited for this movie when it was being directed by Chris Miller and Phil Lord, and I think they are really some of the best comedy directors at the moment. Some of their movies are like 21, 22 Jump Street, Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, and the Lego Movie.
They are good at making good movies out of terrible ideas. Perfect for the Han Solo movie.
And I think they would have done something different with it. And then they left because they tried to make it a comedy, even though they were comedy directors. I do think that they have it in them to do something that isn't focused on comedy, but I really don't know what happened in behind the scenes, so I can't really say much. But I would have preferred to see their movie, even if it was a complete disaster, it would have been a little different. Now Ron Howard's the director. He's a good director. I think he's a very competent director. A great compliment for a film director. Competent. I really think he's only as good as his script a lot of the time. He's made a lot of, great movies, and then some other movies that aren't so good. Whenever I watch one of his movies, you can tell that he knows how to make a movie. Like, you're like, yeah, he knows how to make a movie. Even like his bad ones, like, yeah, he knows like the shots and it looks good, I guess, sure.
Every project you get involved in, ultimately, is just going to find its way to breaking your heart.
Yeah. Good on. Saudi Arabia is showing its first movie in 35 years. That's great. It's crazy that they don't show them, but it's a good step. What's the first movie they're showing? It's the Emoji Movie.
My name is Gene, and I'm supposed to be a man.
The Emoji
It was
Movie.
horribly paced, horribly edited. The jokes didn't land. I don't know if it was writing or it was